What? We're back with another Let's Build so soon? Yes, we are. Well, sort of. This is more of an interior design kind of video. I was pretty excited to get these empty buildings set up since there have been so many cosmetic items added. So I did boost my coziness level up to 5 to get those items unlocked. I still haven't gotten all the figurines yet, but I think that's all I'm missing. But let's get to this build. You saw me start with furnishing the patio I built in the last video. And this first building here, I initially thought to be the restaurant that would serve those tables, but the shape didn't really allow for that to happen. So I switched to making it residential. It's a 3-level home that was going to be a family home, but I changed directions again, also because of the awkward shape, and made it almost like a single living dwelling with a little extra space, which I will be explaining all the residents I'd imagine to be living in each home. And I think I'm just going to continue with a story that grows as this town grows. And right here, you can see I've come across my first of many chopping lists that you cannot see the bottom of. And it's really not like a bunch of stuff, it's just a bunch of unique items that make the list so long. But to make the video seem a bit more seamless, I went through every item I placed and manually added up each part that wasn't listed on the visible portion of the chopping list. They should add a way to scroll through the list. This next building is also residential, and it's kind of a two-parter. I imagine the basement level is being rented from the family that owns it and also lives in the main part of the house. This basement is a dirty place, mostly unkept and completely open. The main house is a 2-story open concept home with 3 bedrooms upstairs and with a basement that has a separate entrance. This one was pretty fun to lay out. It's got a lot of fun elements to it. Here, I've actually decided to redo the roof a little bit. With the new valleys they added, the peak dormers don't look unfinished anymore, so thanks guys. Also, this gives these rooms a little bit more headspace. I'm keeping the basement sparse and pretty minimalistic, and I'm putting everything close to the walls because there's a huge pile of dirt in the middle. Gathering the raw meat for all these stuffed gnats was a bit annoying. And you see, I have another long list. This bunch, I think, and the next bunch are the 2 that ended up being the longest list of parts. And I really thought I had everything I needed, but apparently I missed some things or miscounted. It gets a little difficult to keep track sometimes with so many unique items. This shopping list was so long that I needed to use a chest because I couldn't carry everything without unloading my tools and weapons, and so I just put everything I needed for the build in the chest. And even with my best efforts to make sure I had every item ready so I could build every piece of furniture seamlessly, it seems I still miscounted. So I made a mad dash to grab what I needed and dashed back so I could at least make a cut that made it look seamless, since it was just one light, and with everything coming together so perfectly, I got lined up and placed every part all at once as I do so we can see the beauty of the seamless. Wait, what? Hold up. I know I grabbed everything I needed this time. So something is not right here. Hold on. Okay. I retraced my steps, and silly me, I forgot that after I grabbed everything, on my way back, the crow swooped down and tried to eat me. But I know, it's so crazy. The crow, you wouldn't think, but it went AWOL, never before seen. But I unfortunately temporarily stopped the recording, so I can't show you. It really sucks, but you just have to believe me. But the crow took one of my glow goos. It's so wild, and I can't believe I forgot it happened. I just didn't want you thinking I counted wrong, because I really didn't. Anyway, here's some more stuff to clutter up these open walls at the top of the landing, and I went back through and realized I needed to add a few more things, mainly lights and some picture frames. So this building here is another awkward shape, but presented an interesting opportunity with the rocks here. I kind of made the house look like it's on stilts, and the bricks were built around them. It's technically a 3-level home with the foyer as the entire first level, but I'm just going to call it a loft apartment. Well, hold on. No, not an apartment. Are loft houses a thing? Hold up. I just Googled it, and they are totally a thing, and it's exactly what you'd imagine. It's like a standalone loft apartment. Like they just took the unit out and placed it somewhere on its own. And I'm not talking about a standard family home with a loft, by the way. This is something different. But enough of that. The last building here had an excellent shape to be something other than a house. And since there's a bunch of new furniture, I figured why not an actual furniture shop? And I know what you're thinking. You already did that. Well, it got destroyed, so leave me alone. But anyway, I actually didn't miscount the amount of items I needed this time. I just didn't have enough moth fuzz, and I wasn't ready for that hike yet. So just trust me, I do finish the bed later. But it was pretty disappointing being only one item short, especially since I was just over there getting toenails. At least I had the lights covered, am I right? I did take some time to update some of the stairs around the place so they'd match a bit better depending on where they were and what's built around them. But I did leave some grass stairs for variety. You know, I like diversity. And I also went ahead and repaired the stuff that got destroyed from fighting the infected broodmother. But fear not, this is no longer a furniture shop. I didn't want to have two competing shops so close together. I don't want to spoil any surprises, but it's a tool and equipment shop now. I guess I just spoiled the surprise. That's on me. That's my bad. That's my bad. I'm laying out the foundation here a little bit differently than before because I no longer plan for this area to be the town square, and I am planning ahead for a creepy alleyway right here. I also realized I missed a set of stairs I replaced, and yes, I am still getting caught on this damn spiderweb that shouldn't be here. The tavern kitchen is looking nice again. I even added a cookery since that's a thing now. I forgot to add a fridge though. I decided to adjust the stairs a bit here. It's common for me to change little things like this after I build them now, since they can be so easily relocated. I also swapped out the stairs in the main dining room and added this header that I should have put in from the beginning. And I did try to take a few shots for a dramatic reveal, but these small interior spaces made that a little difficult to do or like make it easy to follow. So we're just going to jump to the walkthrough after getting these last few things put in. I was patiently waiting for it to be night so we could do this walkthrough, and I waited a little too long, so it will be day in a few hours. So let's walk through the buildings in the order that I furnished them and talk about the people who live there. And I want to do it at night because it just looks so good. The lighting has always been so pleasing in this game, and this mushroom provides a great vantage point to look around the area. But first, the outdoor patio. I wasn't sure about this garden patch until I put the walls around it. It makes it look intentional. I don't know how to explain what I mean. Like the architect planned everything around this planter. Whatever, let's move on. Some nicely dimly lit tables for a romantic evening. Currently with a great view. I'm not entirely sure how this view will change, but it will change a little bit. I changed these lights to white and dimmed them down, and it looked so good that I decided to go through my other garden sections and made those white as well, and they look beautiful. I did want this first building to be a restaurant, but it didn't really work out that way. But then I thought, the tavern is right here, and that's close enough. This house took me the longest to figure out, and it's because I was really set on the cafe in the beginning. Thankfully, I figured something else out, and I think I'm going to talk about the build in the voiceover. But right now, I would like to just talk about the man who lives here. When you first walk in, it's nothing unusual. Seems like a normal foyer and sitting area. You head up to the main floor. Still nothing crazy. Maybe he likes purple lights. There are a few chairs missing from the table, but he's a single guy. Maybe he couldn't find a table that came with only one chair, so he got a set and just made use of the other chairs around the house. I mean, he only really needs one here for him. He can have his morning coffee and toast and gaze upon the morning travelers walking by. And same thing with the other chair, just a different view. A pretty simple kitchen. He doesn't care too much for his veggies, but what's this back here? Some sort of shrine? What's his deal with ants? Is he just obsessed with ants, or does he worship them? Or maybe he's made some sort of deal with them and now he's indebted to them for always and eternity. Shout out to Madame Zeroni. I did place this grandfather clock to give creepy feels inspired by Stranger Things, but I needed more creepy stuff, and I feel like the obsession with the ants and the purple lights helped with that, I guess. Plus, it allows me to create my own story. Up on the top floor, in this room straight ahead, there is a chest and a chair that is facing out the window with a perfect view of one of the private rooms at the inn. Now, why would someone need to have a chair permanently posted up here? What is it that they are needing access to on demand? And why is there a bow conveniently located close by? What are you up to, Mr. Ant Dude? This little room I just threw some pots in because you can't get in here without crouching, so storage was best. And this, I actually thought this was pretty cool. The triangle walls kind of created a canopy for the bed. I was going to put nightstands here, but it makes it like a little more misunderstanding without them, which makes it a little more creepy. More purple lights. And the last area has a stuffed ant and the last table chair, which has a view that isn't quite as creepy as the other, yet there will be stuff over there eventually. And so now, with all of that in mind, these chairs no longer seem so innocently placed. Why are you posting up at every window? And I think this picture is supposed to be a larva, but it looks close enough to an ant. There's also this weird one, which I think is an ant head and a human body. I mean, honestly, they're not even sure what they are. Look at the question marks. And this chair here no longer seems so chill. They have a perfect view of the tavern door. Who are you trying to see? So many questions. Before we move on, I changed some of the stairs. You can see these here, including the ones to the bridge. I wanted to make them match a little more. Let's go into this basement, and oh, it's so damp and smells disgusting. Why would anybody want to live down here? Well, they don't want to. They just don't have much of a choice currently because they have dealt with a financial crisis and are currently struggling to get back on their feet, and the only place they could afford was from the snobby folks who live upstairs who are overcharging for this nasty place, knowing good and well that they are taking advantage of this poor guy's situation. I mean, there are gnats everywhere. They're actually really fun to just run around and see if you can get them all moving at one time. These were actually a pain to do, though, because they each need raw gnat meat. And now for the snobs, and right away, it's a different feel. The lights are bright white, and you can see they have some nice things. These people aren't wealthy, but they do okay, and they like to show it by spending every available penny on luxurious items. I just realized I never put items on this shelf. But these people are even overcharging rent on the basement to help fund this habit. They have nice furniture, some nice wall art, a statue, some more pictures, a lovely table. I hope they make chairs that go with this table better. Also, I can't get the chairs under the table like I've been able to with the others. They even have a fridge. Haven't seen one of those yet. And this landing is full of taxidermied items, even a fancy scarab and a gong. Is this the actual size? Because it seems bigger on the wall. I don't know. I use this partition as a piece of art as well, and I think it works. I forgot to put armor on the dummy. I'm slacking. Another fancy art piece at the end of this hallway. Now for the primary bedroom. Lovely sitting space, an oversized chandelier, very nice furniture, sword and shield, more art, and the most expensive bed in the game. The second room, right next to the primary, is more of a teenager's room. It's set up simple and clean with some notes of interest. Not Dungeons and Dragons. Monsters and Minotaurs, I think. Is that right? I think that's right. The last room, I mainly just wanted to use the bunk bed, and this was the only place it worked, which isn't great, but it's kind of cool, right next to the window. But it's more of a little kid's room, or twins is what I imagined. A nice space-themed poster, some stuffed toys on the floor, as kids do, and toy chest for more toys. There are toys in there, just trust me. This clock was by the door, but I moved it over here, and it blocks the awkward space behind the stairs, so that's cool. I had to move it because it's actually a little bit taller than the walls, and the bed is right here, so it was interfering, and my options were to move it over or to move it completely, and I didn't like the way it looked right up against the stairs. And since it's a family of 5, I put the 6th dining chair in front of the little awkward space so they can look out the window, but it's a far less creepy way. The last house was fun, and I actually did it really quick. Right when you walk in, it's like the house was just built to stand on these rocks. But this guy is a working man. He's got his solid self-made armor and rapier. It's almost like he fences, actually. Up to the main level, it's pretty simple. He's got a cookery. I'll explain that paperclip. There are some pots along the wall. I forgot to put stuff on that shelf as well. Wow, what's wrong with me? You can look around and see there are tools and equipment everywhere. A table with a single chair, just to say it's possible to find one. And you can't actually walk back here because of this picture, actually. So the paperclip is here because there are no pictures of tools or anything like that available, and so I decided the paperclip was adequate. Also, I found out I lost my early access pictures even though I started this world before the full release. Apparently they just disappear once those saves are gone, and the picture I had in the tavern rooms were of the newspapers from that early access pack, so they just reset to blank frames, which is kind of lame. How did I not build this? Just kidding, I totally built it. This is the upstairs loft, more working equipment, a place to sleep, and a nice place to sit. I would totally live here. This is actually like pretty cozy up here. I'm so happy I was able to seal off each of these peaks. It's such a great addition, but imagine waking up and standing up to stretch and then just falling out the window. And finally, the newest shop. It is here to showcase some of the new furniture they added. These frames here are to be advertised as frames and not pictures, so I did solid colors in each of them. I do really like this setup in this shop. It actually feels like I'm furniture shopping. There are display shelves around the top side of the building, and this is the first time I've used this pot because it's the most expensive one. This isn't like a furniture store you purchase from and leave with your new stuff the same day. It's more like an order here and it'll be delivered in 4 to 6 weeks kind of store. As for the old furniture shop, it is now for tools. I forgot to put tools on these. Imagine there are hammers and axes and wrenches here, and look at this trash can. But a lot of this stuff stayed because there wasn't really furniture before, so it was really easy to add what was missing of the equipment. Well, the game just crashed and cut off my recording, so we're going to go over the tavern again. I changed these stairs. It looks better without the bright green. And the stairs right here, I pushed back a half block, and it looks far better in my opinion. Such a small change, yet so much impact. Most of the kitchen is the same. Added a cookery and moved some lights around. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I changed the color of the lanterns to match the majority of the torches. Unfortunately, they're not on now because of the sun, the stupid sun. So I didn't rebuild this to be squared out like I had it before because I no longer plan on this being the main square. I think it'll look good with a building placed right here to kind of end this road. Not sure what it'll be yet, but there will be something. I currently plan on this being the main square now, but that could change. I do have ideas of what to put here though. As for the actual gutter build, I was going to come finish it, but it's been acting more as a storage facility, and I don't want that. So when I get everything out of here, I'm going to redo the interior and make it like the village chief's home. It's actually a really big space, and I think I could have a lot of fun with it. This is where I originally stored my planks. It seems so long ago now. I've definitely done a lot of rambling in this one, and I'm not sorry, actually. I get excited about my builds. I actually get excited about seeing anybody's builds, honestly. But being pleased by what you're doing is a great feeling. But with that said, let's wrap it up. I'm so grateful to everyone, especially those who have made it to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and thank you so much for your continued support. Until next time, I'll see you.